The sun rises over South Texas, but there is no peace at the Dutton Ranch. Dust blows across the fields as Rip Wheeler stands alone outside the bunkhouse, staring at the horizon. The attack on the ranch has left everyone shaken. Blood has already been spilled, and Rip knows more is coming. Inside the house, Beth Dutton studies a stack of documents. The deal she fought so hard to secure is suddenly falling apart. Someone is buying land around them faster than she expected. Every signature points to one person. Beulah. Beth slams the folder shut. That old witch thinks she can outplay me. Rip walks in. Tell me you've got good news. Beth laughs bitterly. If I had good news, you'd know. She slides the documents across the table. They're closing in on us. Rip studies the papers. Then we hit them first. Beth smiles. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. Meanwhile, Carter rides through the ranch with Orina. Their relationship has become increasingly complicated. Carter wants a future. Orina isn't sure she belongs in this world anymore. You ever think about leaving? Orina asks. Carter shakes his head. This place is all I've got. What if it disappears? Carter doesn't answer. For the first time, he realizes that possibility is becoming real. Across town, Everett McKinney meets secretly with Beulah Jackson. Neither trusts the other, but both share a common goal. Destroying Beth Dutton. Beulah pours herself a drink. She's becoming a problem. Everett nods. Then solve it. Beulah smiles. Oh, I intend to. Later that night, Rip gathers the ranch hands. The atmosphere feels different. This isn't ranch business anymore. This is war. We've been pushed around long enough, Rip says. No more waiting. No more reacting. Anyone who comes after this ranch is going to regret it. The men nod. They know exactly what Rip means. The next morning, Beth drives into town alone. A black truck follows her. She notices immediately. Beth Dutton has survived too much to miss something like that. The truck stays behind her through every turn. Finally, Beth pulls into an empty lot. The truck follows. Two armed men step out. The leader smiles. Mrs. Dutton. Beth smiles back. Big mistake. Before either man can react, Rip's truck crashes into theirs. The impact sends metal flying. Rip jumps out. A brutal fight erupts. Fists fly. Bones crack. Dust fills the air. When it ends, both attackers are lying unconscious on the ground. Beth looks at Rip. Took you long enough. Rip smirks. You looked like you were having fun. Back at the ranch, the attack confirms everyone's fears. Someone wants them gone. And whoever it is has money, power, and connections. That evening, Beth receives a mysterious phone call. The voice is distorted. You should leave Texas while you still can. Beth laughs. You clearly don't know who you're talking to. The caller hangs up. Beth laughs. You clearly don't know who you're talking to. The caller hangs up. Beth stares at the phone. For the first time, she looks worried. Later, Carter discovers something shocking. One of the ranch workers has been secretly feeding information to their enemies. A traitor. The revelation spreads through the ranch like wildfire. Rip confronts the man in the barn. You sold us out. The worker denies everything. Rip doesn't believe him. Nobody else does either. The betrayal cuts deeper than any attack. Because enemies outside the ranch are expected. Enemies inside are not. As night falls, Beth and Rip sit on the porch. The ranch is quiet. Too quiet. You scared? Rip asks. Beth looks toward the darkness. Terrified. Rip raises an eyebrow. Beth smiles. But they should be more scared of me. Suddenly, headlights appear on the distant road. Several vehicles. Moving toward the ranch. Fast. Rip stands immediately. The ranch hands grab weapons. Beth steps forward. The convoy gets closer. 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 Then the screen cuts to black. A gunshot echoes through the night. The gunshot echoes across the ranch. For a moment, nobody moves. Rip immediately rushes toward the entrance gate while the ranch hands spread out across the property. Dust rises from the approaching convoy as headlights cut through the darkness. Beth remains standing on the porch. Calm. Focused. Dangerous. The lead vehicle suddenly stops. Then another. And another. A dozen armed men step out. Nobody says a word. The tension is unbearable. Rip grips his rifle. One wrong move and the ranch becomes a battlefield. Finally, a man steps forward from the darkness. It is not Everett. It is not Beulah. It is someone nobody expected. Whitney Harper. Beth's eyes narrow. What the hell are you doing here? Whitney smiles. Saving your ranch. Nobody believes her. Rip certainly doesn't. Whitney slowly raises her hands. I'm not your enemy. Beth laughs. That's exactly what an enemy says. Whitney explains that she recently discovered Beulah and Everett's newest plan. They are preparing to force several ranch owners into bankruptcy before taking control of thousands of acres of land. The Dutton Ranch is their biggest target. If they take you down, Whitney says, they take down everyone. Beth remains suspicious. Why help me? Whitney hesitates. Because the truth is complicated. She once wanted Beth destroyed. The gunshot echoes across the ranch. For a moment, nobody moves. Rip immediately rushes toward the entrance gate while the ranch hands spread out across the property. Dust rises from the approaching convoy as headlights cut through the darkness. Beth remains standing on the porch. Calm. Focused. Dangerous. The lead vehicle suddenly stops. Then another. And another. A dozen armed men step out. Nobody says a word. The tension is unbearable. Rip grips his rifle. Rip certainly doesn't. Whitney slowly raises her hands. I'm not your enemy. Beth laughs. That's exactly what an enemy says. Whitney explains that she recently discovered Beulah and Everett's newest plan. They are preparing to force several ranch owners into bankruptcy before taking control of thousands of acres of land. The Dutton Ranch is their biggest target. If they take you down, Whitney says, they take down everyone. Beth remains suspicious. Why help me? Whitney hesitates. Because the truth is complicated. She once wanted Beth destroyed, but now she realizes Beulah intends to destroy everyone. Even her allies. Before Beth can respond, a second gunshot rings out. One of Whitney's men collapses. Chaos erupts. Shots explode from the hills surrounding the ranch. An ambush. Everyone dives for cover. Rip immediately returns fire. The ranch hands spread across the property while bullets tear through fences and buildings. Beth refuses to run. She grabs a rifle from one of the trucks. Rip sees her. Get down. Beth ignores him. The firefight intensifies. For nearly 10 minutes, gunfire echoes across the valley. Finally, the attackers retreat into the darkness. Silence returns. But not peace. Several people are injured. One ranch hand is seriously wounded. And now everyone knows something. This war has become deadly. The next morning, Carter makes a discovery that changes everything. While repairing a damaged fence line, he finds a hidden phone buried near one of the barns. The phone contains dozens of messages. Photos. Maps. Financial records. Evidence. The traitor inside the ranch wasn't working alone. Someone much higher up has been coordinating attacks for months. Carter immediately brings the phone to Beth. As she scrolls through the files, her face changes. Anger becomes shock. Shock becomes rage. One name appears repeatedly. Everett McKinney. But another name appears even more often. A name nobody expected. Sheriff Dalton Reeves. The very man responsible for protecting the community has secretly been helping their enemies. Beth slams the phone onto the table. Oh, this is going to be fun. Meanwhile, Everett meets with Beulah in an abandoned warehouse. Both are furious. The attack failed. The Duttons survived again. Beulah throws a glass against the wall. How do they keep winning? Everett shakes his head. They don't. What are you talking about? Everett smiles coldly. They just don't know they've already lost. He reveals his final move. A legal maneuver capable of freezing the ranch's assets. If successful, the Duttons won't be able to pay employees, maintain operations, or defend their property. The ranch will slowly collapse from within. Beulah smiles for the first time in days. Now that's the Everett I remember. Back at the ranch, sweat forms on his forehead. 3. Still nothing. 2. Finally he breaks. He confesses everything. The payments. The information leaks. The land scheme. Every detail. But before Beth can get the full story, a sniper's bullet shatters the office window. The sheriff falls backward. Blood spreads across his shirt. Beth dives to the floor. The sniper is gone before anyone can react. The sheriff's final words barely escape his lips. It wasn't Beulah. Beth leans closer. Who was it? The sheriff struggles to breathe. Then he whispers a name. A name Beth never expected to hear. The screen does not reveal it. Instead, Beth's face fills with complete shock. That night, Rip returns to find Beth sitting alone. Silent. Thinking. Dangerous. What happened, he asks. Beth looks up. We've been fighting the wrong enemy. Rip frowns. What do you mean? Beth slowly stands. The fire in her eyes is stronger than ever. The person behind all of this is someone much closer than we ever imagined. Rip realizes she is serious. Very serious. Who? Beth stares into the darkness. Before she can answer, an explosion erupts near the stables. The entire ranch shakes. Horses panic. People scream. Flames rise into the night sky. Rip immediately runs toward the fire. Beth follows. But hidden among the flames is a shadowy figure watching from a distance. Smiling. Knowing the ranch is finally beginning to fall apart. Flames roar through the stables. Ranch hands rush toward the fire carrying buckets, hoses, and anything they can find. Horses scream in panic as smoke fills the night air. Rip pushes through the chaos. Get the horses out. Several ranch hands kick open the stable doors while others battle the spreading fire. Beth arrives moments later. Her eyes immediately search the area. Not for the fire. For whoever started it. Because she knows this wasn't an accident. This was a message. And someone wanted them to see it. Across the ranch, Carter manages to free several frightened horses before a section of the roof collapses behind him. The explosion nearly traps him inside. Rip reaches him just in time. You trying to get yourself killed? Carter coughs through the smoke. Not today. Together they pull the remaining horses to safety. After nearly an hour, the fire is finally contained. But the damage is devastating. Part of the stable is destroyed. Several vehicles are damaged. And morale across the ranch has never been lower. Everyone feels it. The enemy is getting closer. Later that night, Beth gathers everyone inside the main house. Nobody speaks. Everyone is exhausted. Angry. Scared. Beth stands at the head of the table. Then she drops a folder in front of them. This is everything we've recovered. Land records. Secret meetings. The evidence is overwhelming. Someone has been orchestrating attacks against the ranch for months. But now Beth finally knows why. This was never about revenge, she says. It was always about control. The room falls silent. The ranch isn't simply land. It sits directly in the path of a massive development project worth billions. If the Dutton Ranch falls, every surrounding property becomes vulnerable. The attackers don't want the ranch. They want everything around it. Rip clenches his jaw. So who's running the operation? Beth takes a deep breath. The answer isn't simple. Before she can continue, a truck pulls into the ranch. Everyone immediately reaches for weapons. Rip steps outside. A woman emerges from the vehicle. Beulah Jackson. Alone. Unarmed. At least that's how it appears. The entire ranch freezes. Nobody expected this. Especially not Beth. Beulah calmly walks toward the house. Beth meets her halfway. Neither woman blinks. Neither woman backs down. You've got some nerve showing up here. Beulah smiles. I came to save your life. Beth laughs. That's the funniest thing I've heard all year. Beulah's expression suddenly changes. For the first time, she looks genuinely worried. You think I'm your biggest problem? You're not. No. Beth studies her carefully. Something feels different. Beulah isn't acting like herself. She's acting afraid. And Beth realizes why. Someone else is involved. Someone powerful enough to frighten even Beulah. Meanwhile, Everett receives a phone call. The voice on the other end is calm. Cold. Dangerous. The fire failed. Everett swallows nervously. We're working on another plan. No. The voice interrupts. I'm done waiting. Everett's hands begin shaking. What are you saying? The caller pauses. Then delivers a chilling order. Tomorrow night. The ranch falls. The line goes dead. For the first time, Everett looks terrified. Back at the ranch, Beulah finally reveals part of the truth. Years ago, a powerful investment group began quietly buying land across Texas. They used shell companies. Fake partnerships. Hidden investors. Nobody knew who was truly behind the purchases. Until recently. Now Beulah knows. And she wishes she didn't. Beth leans forward. Who is it? Beulah hesitates. Then she answers. The Blackthorne Group. The room falls silent. Even Rip has heard the name. A ruthless organization with enormous political and financial influence. People who lose fights against Blackthorne don't recover. They disappear. Businesses collapse. Careers end. Lives are destroyed. Beth slowly smiles. A smile that makes everyone uncomfortable. Because they know that look. It means she has chosen war. Again.